Good morning, friends, and welcome to another week at Bee Free Acres, our family compound. So we've got a fun week planned this week of a lot of projects as usual. And this week we're going to be focusing on the garden. As you can see behind me, all the plants out, getting hardened and ready to hopefully plant within the next 2 or 3 weeks. We're also going to continue work on the electric for the garage. And we've got a special project happening over at Taylor and Eric's for the compound. Let me show you the plants that I've got going so far, because we have planted the lettuce, we've got onions that are growing, and garlic, and beans, and they're actually staying outside now, so that's super exciting. But we have some issues with some deer, and we're gonna be doing something unique with our deer situation. Maybe not that unique, but it was unique to us, so stay tuned for that. So here's where we planted our lettuce. This little area over here is going to be mostly our lettuce garden. And look at how great it looks. Now last night, it threatened to hail on them and we had to cover some of them, but it did fine. Got our cilantro looking great here. More lettuce, super exciting. Strawberry plants are doing really well and coming up. I have my first cucumber starting. Look at that little baby right there. And I learned this morning that I've got to pollinate them myself if they haven't been pollinated. If you know, you know. That's weird, but I did it. So I'm putting in a drip system and I'm starting with my lettuce garden. And this particular one is Mr. Landscaper, but basically from my phone, I'll be able to control the water and it'll be on a timer. So right now, you take a 1/2-inch tube, and that's like your main water line, and you run that, and then you take these 1/4-inch tubes and run it up into your plants and use a 1/4-inch drip tubing. So it's not too difficult to do. Right now I'm securing down all of this line of the 1/2-inch main water tube with these clippies. So it's gonna hopefully save us a lot of time and water. Had a little mishap with the fan and the top of the hot tub.
Yeah, so I didn't clip the top of the hot tub down. We got a major gust of wind and it lifted up the whole hot tub top right into the fan. Took out a few blades, bent up the stuff. So we're going to replace the fan, but also with the little rod that holds it down so it drops down a little bit. I'm actually going to shorten that so it's up even more. Most of the time it will not hit it, but because the way the wind lifted everything up, it whacked into it. But I want to make sure that there's a little more clearance this time.
That was not on the list, but that's what happens when you're on a family compound. Things that are not on the list at the beginning of the week or the beginning of the morning, within a few minutes end up on the list.
Quite a bit here. One of the things is, obviously this is right above the hot tub too. So what I had to do is put down a couple moving blankets on top of the hot tub, put some 8-foot 2x4s across so that I could disperse my weight, and then a 3/4-inch piece of plywood so that I'm not denting the top or creating a ruckus with the top. So if you're doing something like this, sometimes you have to make your own stuff to make it work.
We have light. It's getting late, but we got all of the fans done today over in the kitchen area, and we fixed the broken one. And I got the drip irrigation set up in the lettuce area. All right, today we're heading over to Taylor and Eric's on the compound, and we're gonna do a cool project over there. So let's go. This is Taylor and Eric's house, and they want to add a little farmhouse feel to it. So today we're going to be putting up, or begin putting up, a split rail fence. So we purchased it from Lowe's and we are going to get started.
Hello, adventurers. So the fighting has stopped and the actual creation of the fence has begun. I'm going to show you what it looks like. The baby's sleeping. I'm listening to him on the monitor while they work. I'm just like a supervisor. This is my tree. Her name's Sheila. She's a river birch. And then let me tell you the story of these plants. So these plants were planted and then we put trash bags over them to keep them from getting messed up in the frost. And they got steamed. But they're coming back to life. Yes. Yes, Mother.
You're having like a full-on conversation with the camera.
I was telling it about my steamed plants.
She never wants to video or do any of that, but she gets a camera in or in her hand or even in front of her, and all of a sudden, hello, theater kid.
I told them about Sheila, my river birch.
All right, so one of the things we're realizing with this fence is it's actually better to go ahead and put the cross beams in, because what that does is it sturdies up your next post, so it makes it easier to handle. Then we're actually using the stakes to hold it in place, but it's actually easier to go ahead and put your at least the top one on, and then you go to the next one, then you can put your bottom one in as well.
What you two doing?
Welcome to my crib.
It's looking good.
Yeah.
Today was a super long day, but very productive. We mostly have the fence done at Taylor and Eric's house, and it looks so good. Just changes the whole vibe. And we also are just finishing up hooking in the power so we can turn these fans on behind me, which is exciting too. So we got a lot done today, but kind of late and we're exhausted. So hopefully we'll be done really quickly. It is officially time to start the planting process. So my tomatoes spent the night outside last night and they fared very well. I saw a huge rabbit on the road last night. I was a little worried, but everything is looking good. So we gotta start by making some dirt. And in raised beds, what I have learned is the dirt has to be a little bit different. So I use some peat moss, some vermiculite, and some compost. This compost in here. Okay, so now I've got my dirt ready. Next thing I need to do is get this Monterey Complete Disease Control ready, and I put that into my sprinkling can because I use this in the hole so that I hopefully prevent a lot of diseases. And now I've got some bone meal and some fertilizer, and so we're ready to start.
If you've never smelled the organic fertilizer, let's just say it's a Stankelfest for sure.
It smells like food.
It doesn't smell like food. It smells like food that's already been eaten.
So I'm trying to pick out my biggest tomatoes right here first. Let's get those in because they have got to be planted ASAP.
One quick update on the greenhouse. We actually added a 20 amp circuit that comes out here to the greenhouse because running all those extension cords is a royal pain, so we buried this line, ran it out from the garage.
That's gonna go there. So this has been a week, a bit of a week, and I thought I had all of our plants planted, and we made a pretty big error. So we found a local place that does some soil, and they had dirt with chicken manure in it, which seemed like a really great idea, which is, but we didn't realize that you can't just use it like that. You got to mix it with other stuff. So we planted everything in that, and now it just won't drain. So we have to redo that today. So to the end of our week, today is the end. We are going to go to church this morning, and then we are going to pick up some other stuff to mix in. We're going to get a wood chipper, a big one, so that we can put in wood chips, some compost, and we're going to have to redo that because you can see all these things that we planted. They look so good, but when you water them, they just sit with water. So we've got a whole bunch to change out. So we are going to, like I said, go to church, go get a wood chipper, some more stuff, fix all of these plants, hopefully finish up the electric in the garage, and be done for the week. All right, so we are ready to get started on the task of changing out all the soil because of the chicken poop. So I've got my hair pulled back, my grub clothes on. The first thing we've got to do is make some wood chips. Or rather, chip some wood chips. So we've been wanting to get one of these, so we have this, we just got this Champion chipper shredder. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put that thing together. All right, let's go chip some wood. So now it's time to see what this mulch looks like. That does it so fast.
Oh, that's great.
Whoa, where has
That's really
this
good.
been all my life? Okay, so now that we have some mulch, we're gonna mix in some mulch and some compost into the chicken dirt. So you can pretty much tell when it's ready by the smell. So it took us pretty much all night, but we finally got everything replanted. And something very exciting is my first cucumbers coming. Look at them, so cute. Not only that, my beans are coming back and they're looking much better than they were before. One thing we have learned is that beans don't really like to be transplanted. But look, I've got beans. Well, things don't always go exactly as planned, but nonetheless, we got her done, and it's beautiful.